You representing Ron Paul.
Thank you all very much. Again, my name is Mike Vasovski. I'm a general practice physician from Aiken, South Carolina. In 1987, I got out of the United States Army at Fort Gordon. I'd been moonlighting in Aiken, and it was a natural thing to stay there because in 1987, the economy was much like it is now. It was horrible. And people in Texas were suffering much more than they were in South Carolina, so we stayed. We made our home in Aiken, raised 2 kids, and stayed focused on a medical practice and raising my kids and taking care of my mother and father-in-law in our home until May 15, 2007. And May 15, 2007, there was a debate at the Coger Center. And in that debate, there were 7 or 8 or maybe 9 people at that time. And I accidentally turned that debate on. I wasn't turning it on because I was interested in politics. In fact, I had no interest in politics. I didn't know what congressional district I lived in. I didn't know Gresham from Graham. I'm not exaggerating. I was focused on my medical practice. I was not interested in politics. But I turned that thing on, and an older gentleman stood up from behind the podium, and he came out behind me. He had his hands behind his back. And he said, "Hello, I'm Congressman Ron Paul, and I am the champion of the Constitution." And I thought, what's this guy talking about? Why is he bringing this up? We all know the Constitution. We live by it. It keeps us free. What's he talking about? So I listened more, and by the end of that debate, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This stuff resonated with me. A person with no political interest. This man was talking to me. He was talking to me here and here. And when he stood up, I didn't have a clue who he was. In fact, I thought he was somebody else. But by the end of the debate, I had Googled it, looked at it, and I found the person that I have supported since then. That was May 15, 2007. That was a life-altering event. I went from not knowing what congressional district I lived in to running for the seat in 2010. Jeff Duncan won the seat, and it was a wonderful experience, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. But it taught me a lot about politics, and it taught me experiences, and it made me confident enough so that I could stand up in front of people and tell them how I feel about things. I'm a volunteer. I'm not a paid man for this guy. In fact, we've maxed out our donations. I pay every week doing something for him, including coming up here tonight. We have one paid worker in South Carolina, but we have a lot of very dedicated, committed supporters. And right now, the news is telling us that in Iowa, Ron Paul's campaign in Iowa is the strongest, both professionally and grassroots, of all the candidates that are there. Now, just real quickly, this man is all about freedom. And we can talk about free, and we can read the Republican Creed. And the first time I read the Republican Creed, Dennis Saylor, our chairman in Aiken, read the Republican Creed, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I said, this is how I feel. This is real. And we talk about being free, but no people are less free than those who go about every day thinking they're free. And you don't have to go any further than the gentleman in the White House right now to realize that we're losing our freedoms by leaps and bounds, starting with the Patriot Act, the most misnamed thing on earth. There's nothing at all patriotic about that thing. And now look at what Obama did. They assassinated a man without a trial, based only on a secret letter from the Justice Department. Now that ought to make y'all squirm, because that's the first one, and there's going to be more. And if you doubt this, read a little history and read about how Hitler came to power. He didn't steal power, he was given power. Their Patriot Act wasn't called the Patriot Act, it was called the Enabling Act. They gave them more and more power. Pretty soon people started disappearing. Long story short, it's about freedom. And that is why he stirs. That's why he stirs people the way he does. Put aside all your preconceptions about it and just look into it. Look into it a little bit and see if it doesn't catch your imagination too. Thank you for your time and allowing me to come.
Thank you.